What's going on, people, and welcome to Man Knows Football. You're here with myself, Guni, after a very disappointing result against Brentford. Yes, we drew, but to me, it honestly feels like a loss. It feels like a loss. It feels like a humiliation yet again. We're against a terrible form Brentford, who have lost 7 out of 12 of their last games that they've played. And guess what? Chelsea Football Club go over to the GTEC Stadium and give them at least a point. But do you know what that means for us overall this season? Brentford have taken 4 points off us. 4 points off us out of a possible 6. Brentford have taken 4 of them. If this squad and if this manager at this point to you is not a disgrace, I cannot help you. We are languishing in 11th place. We are not going to be, we'll be lucky to finish top half of the table. There's a very strong chance that we are going to finish the bottom half of the table. We're not going to finish any higher than 9th or 8th, the way things are going. And some of you might be thinking, Guni, man, there's still a lot of games that need to be played. Well, the next 2 Premier League games that we're going to be playing, we've got Arsenal away, and then we've got Newcastle at home. And before those 2 games, actually, we've got the only one hope that we've got to get back into Europe, which I don't think we're going to win anyway. And that is an FA Cup tie at home against Leicester. A game that I'm still not confident that we're going to win. Especially after the performance that we saw against Leeds. Yes, we went through, but it required a last-minute goal from Conor Gallagher to make it 3-2. We struggled against a championship side who are, yes, albeit fighting for that championship title, but we should be clear of these, man. We've been given a golden route to go further into the tournament against Leicester. But are any of you not going to be surprised if we don't take it? So this is why I say to you, for me, there's no chance of Europe. Absolutely none whatsoever. But anyway, we're here to talk about today's game. So we're going to focus right about now on today's catastrophic 2-2 over at the GTEC Stadium. We have a poor record against Brentford. And today shows it yet again. We've continued with that poor record yet again. But before we get into the content, please make sure you do these things for me. Smash the subscribe button for me if you are new. Give the video a thumbs up. And also leave your thoughts down there in the comments. I'd love to know how you feel about today's game. How you feel about the remainder of the season, just your general thoughts on Chelsea Football Club, whether you agree or disagree with some of the things that I say. Let's have a healthy discourse down there in the comments. So we're going to start off with obviously the lineup and the tactics. We did go with that back 5 or the back 3, however you guys want to call it. Petrovic starts in goal. Chalobah, Disasi and Cole as the centre-back trio. Gusto and Ben Chilwell as the wing-backs. The midfield of Gallagher, Caicedo and Enzo, with the 2 attackers of Palmer and Nicholas Jackson. Now, what I will say about this lineup is I do get it. I understand why we've gone with the back 5, especially why we've gone with 3 centre-backs. Brentford traditionally do play with 2 strikers, so obviously we wanted to add the extra numbers in that box. Brentford are also a very physical squad. The light ball's been played in the air as well. So that one extra man, that extra presence in the box was obviously supposed to help us in the defensive phase of the game. But I did also feel that with Brentford and the amount of defensive injuries that they did have, this was perhaps a bit of a super safe option, and perhaps we could have gone with a little bit more of an attacking threat. And speaking of attacking threat, I'm not this player's biggest fan, but Mykhailo Mudryk, I felt, at least deserved the opportunity to start the game today. He wasn't excellent in his last game, but he wasn't terrible in his last game. And let's have it right, he did get a goal as well. A very well taken finish against Leeds. So I felt that he had an opportunity. He should have had an opportunity to start the game today. Unfortunately, he didn't. We decided to go with Palmer and Nicholas Jackson. Now, again, with Chelsea, it seems to be a game of 2 halves. We keep seeing this consistently, man. And obviously, we saw this against Leeds. The first half, we played well. The second half, I don't know what that was about. And this happened here again at the GTEC Stadium against Brentford. A team that is fighting for their Premier League lives. We have come away with a 2-2 draw. To me, this is an absolute L. It's an absolute loss. It's an embarrassment. But first half, we seem to be playing all right. It wasn't really that quick, high-tempo game that we should be playing to be creating more opportunities. Pochettino clearly was wary of conceding opportunities with such dangerous attackers like Wissa and Ivan Toney, who, by the way, would definitely take their chances a lot better than what we do. And in the first half as well, some examples of poor finishing from Chelsea Football Club, in particular, Nicholas Jackson. Nicholas Jackson, for me, outside of that goal, was completely shocking today. Absolutely shocking. Had an opportunity to perhaps score 2 goals and had an opportunity to even get an assist. We'll start off with that missed assist opportunity that this guy had. Running into the box, Ben Chilwell's on that left side, absolutely open, his arms literally in the air, basically telling his player, look at me, I'm wide open, I can get into a goal scoring position and I can put it in the back of the net and give us an early lead. What does this guy do? Decides to take one too many step overs, somehow leaves the ball behind him. Somehow just leaves the ball behind him and breaks down the attack completely. Jackson gets himself into a good position, rounds the goalkeeper, takes one too many touches and just fluffs it in with his left foot. Absolute weak, pathetic shot, which is cleared off the line. Some will say it's good defending. Yes, it's good positioning and good awareness to be standing on the line. However, as a striker, you've got to be putting power into that. You've got to be roofing that. Yeah, not giving any defender any kind of chance to be clearing that off the line. But Nicholas Jackson's left foot absolutely let him down. Not good enough for me. However, he does go on to redeem himself. After me talking about this guy on Twitter absolutely saying how he's not good enough for the club, which I still stand on, by the way, he decides to shut me up and scores an excellent header. I'm not going to lie, credit where it's due, that header was a beautiful header. But the ball from Malo Gusto has to be said, even better. 1-0, we are in the driving seat, not playing the most glorious football, but we're doing enough that's needed to be able to put this game to bed. We go into the first half, we go into the second half with the 1-0 lead. Here's my thing. We're going to be talking about the quality of these players after I discuss this game. So, like I said, we've gone into the second half with the 1-0 lead up. Nicholas Jackson, excellent header. Pochettino. I don't know what this man's saying at halftime on a consistent basis, but we are coming into the second half complacent, looking even worse than we did in the first half, allowing Brentford to get back into the game, allowing them to press us, allowing them to stop dictating our patterns of play, you know, allowing these guys to get forward, to put dangerous balls into the box that we have to deal with. Something that we don't like dealing with as Chelsea Football Club, set pieces and aerial balls. We seem to struggle with those. The defending on Brentford's first goal was an absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace. Colwill just roughed up by Ivan Toney. Chalobah doesn't deal with the cross. Disasi in absolute no man's land, playing everybody onside. Caicedo makes it, I think he's worried about conceding a penalty, but does just enough to put off the attacker from actually striking the ball and potentially scoring the goal. But it didn't even make a difference because they scored anyway. Disasi, if this man was switched on and was not ball watching, definitely could have dealt with that ball and either got it out or got in front of the shot, and we still would have been 1-0 up. But guess what? Disasi doesn't do that. Brentford are in 1-1. But to make matters worse, we have a chance on the other end of the pitch. Gusto, who had a great game going forward defensively, questionable. Gusto plays a lovely ball for Cole Palmer. Gusto is robbed of a second assist. Cole Palmer doesn't even hit the target. Puts it wide, doesn't even test the goalkeeper. Nowhere near good enough. Nowhere near good enough. Should be 2-1 up. But guess who decides to go 2-1 up? Brentford. Once again, shambolic defending in the box, a whole bunch of ball watching, a whole bunch of bad positioning, a whole bunch of loss of concentration. How Wissa was given that much time to perform those acrobatics in our box. Excellent finish from him, by the way. Overhead kick. But it was a disgrace. An absolute gift from the heavens for him. I'm tired I'm tired of these self-imposed errors. This drop of concentration. And I'm tired of telling you guys that this group of players, as well as the manager, are not good enough. I've tried to tell you, as bad as Pochettino is a manager, the players are just as bad. The majority of them. How many times have you heard me say, I'd probably keep about 5 players at Chelsea Football Club? Week in, week out, I don't like to be right about these things, but week in, week out, surely you're starting to see what I'm talking about. Some of you will say, oh, the quality of they're young players and they haven't played for a while together and all of this kind of stuff. I don't know what else to say. Like, if some of you are still going to say, well, if we had a different manager, I'll tell you this right now. If we had Pep Guardiola, if we had Jurgen Klopp, sure, we probably wouldn't be 11th. But I'm telling you right now, we're not getting top 4. We are not getting top 4. Any manager for me is only as good as the crop of players that they've got. There has to be a median. Yes, managerial ability does count for a lot. But also the players have to be up to a certain standard. And I believe that they're definitely not. This group of players are definitely not up to the standard that we need. But anyway, Pochettino decides to make some more positive subs in terms of the attack. Brings on Mudryk, brings on Sterling. Disasi with a bullet header. Makes it 2-2. At this point, I knew it was too late. We're not getting anything better than a draw out of this game. Disasi running around celebrating like he scored the winning goal. Instead of running to go and get that ball from the back of the net, put it back on the centre circle and chasing the winner. Where's the mentality gone in Chelsea Football Club? There's so many things wrong with this club. So many things wrong with this club. Not to mention, Brentford also hit the post twice. They hit the post twice, people, ladies and gentlemen. So to those of you that are saying, well, at least we came away with a draw, our record against Brentford hasn't been that good anyway. No, we were lucky yet again. Scraped it. But to me, this is a loss. Massive loss. They've lost 7 in their last 12, fighting for their survival in the Premier League as well. Ivan Toney out half the season through a ban. This manager needs to go. You could see the tactical difference that Thomas Frank had made in the second half. It was clear as day and it worked for them. Pochettino, very reactive. Anytime a team scores, that's when he makes decisions. Everything is reactive, never proactive, reactive. But where I feel sorry for him, and I will die on this hill, is this crop of players are nowhere near good enough. And after spending £1 billion and not having any world-class players or any player that's even close to it, in my honest opinion, guess what? We need an overhaul. We definitely need an overhaul. We need to address that attack, clear out that entire attack, in my honest opinion. Jackson can go, Sterling can go, Mudryk can go, Madueke can go. Who else? David Washington, if you want to include him. All of them need to go. That midfield needs bolstering. Conor Gallagher, fair play to him, he's done well this season, but going forward, long term for me, not good enough to stay at Chelsea. Needs to go. Get your 50 mil for him, 60 mil for him. That's good business. Enzo Fernandez, £105 million Argentinian. Yes, today you can argue that he was creative, he had his creative moments, but overall for me, has he justified his price tag? No, he hasn't. Caicedo for me today, I thought done all right. I'm seeing improvements in this guy. From a defensive standpoint, I'm seeing improvements from this guy. Is it to the standard? Is it to the speed that I need it to be? Well, no. Defensively, we need to address it. Left back options, Ben Chilwell needs to go. Cucurella, we know, doesn't have a future at this club. Centre backs, Colwell definitely needs to improve for me. Disasi for me, not good enough. Thiago Silva's leaving the club. Chalobah has missed out the majority of the season, so I don't know what to think about this guy. Right back position, we've only got one that's fit, Malo Gusto. Reece James, let's see how he returns. Goalkeeper situation, Petrovic, I've said to you guys, as well as he's done for me, he's a backup at best. You know why I say that? You never ever compromise your goalkeeping position if you want to be a serious club. You've got to go and sign somebody world class or who's on the brink of becoming world class. He's not for me. And of course the manager, we need to address the manager. He needs to go and we need to bring somebody who's top class. But in order to do all of these things, and I reiterate, in order to do all of these things, we have to get rid of this recruitment team. We must get rid of this recruitment team. We cannot trust them with any more decisions. To be picking managers, to be recruiting players, nothing. And the number one culprit in all of this are the owners. They hired these incompetent recruiters. In turn, these recruiters hired this manager, hired incompetent players, hired a squad that's never, in my opinion, going to be good enough to compete for what we should be competing for. Change is needed, people, and I'm not going to stop. I know, I feel like a broken record continually saying this over and over again, but that's genuinely how I feel. Change needs to happen, whether protests need to happen, whether walkouts at Stamford Bridge need to happen, something needs to happen. Anyway, people, once again, I'm disappointed. I can't stop watching this team because I love Chelsea Football Club. I just keep returning to the abuse week in, week out because I love my club. I'm there no matter what, like you guys are. I'm suffering with you. But people, smash that subscribe button. Give the video a thumbs up. Leave your thoughts down there in the comments. I'm out. Southgate out.